What's up YouTube, Capital G here, doing a video discussion on Utopia the Lightning and asking the question bluntly, is this card overpowered? Is this card kind of low-key broken? And I thought about this topic for a while. I've kind of actually been dreading making this video because I'm just like, man, it's just gonna give me a whole bunch of dislikes, just like the Level Eater video, just like the Karen video. I know I'm gonna get a bunch of dislikes on this video, but I figured, you know what, whatever, I still get paid the same amount. I might as well make the video, express my thoughts and opinions, see if anybody agrees, and if people don't agree, you know, try and figure out why. But I feel like Utopia the Lightning is like kind of a broken card, and it's one that we more or less just give a pass to because it's a convenient card that kind of everybody can use, that just answers a whole bunch of problem situations that duelists commonly find themselves in. But I feel like for what Utopia the Lightning does relative to how fucking easy this card is to summon, I feel like it's just a little bit too powerful. And just for simplicity, I am going to basically refer to this card as a rank 4 in this video, because even though it is, yes, it's technically a rank 5, like I can see the 5 black stars or the 5, you know, basically dart dragon balls on the card, but no one ever summons it like the way that it has printed on the card, or the way I guess Konami originally intended on it to be summoned. Like, no one uses 3 level 5 light monsters. Like, everybody just summons a Utopia and then slaps lightning on top of it. And I think about all the things that lightning excels at, and if you really look at the rank 4 pool, and I've got, you know, all of them, like, does any card match up with this? Like, if I said, all right guys, we're just going to classify Utopia the Lightning as a rank 4, like, what card would you say is actually better than it? Because I honestly don't think of any, especially considering it's generic. Maybe you want to say, oh, you know, Lagia or Doka, those are better cards than Utopia and Lightning, which I would completely disagree with, but those cards are not generic. Like, they require specific things, like they require dinosaurs, or other cards like Gigant X, like, you know, these are specialty cards designed for specific decks. When you look at Lightning and you compare it to the rest of the rank 4 pool, you know, cards like Castel and Abyss Dweller and what they specialize at, like, Utopia the Lightning covers so much more ground. For starters, it is a boss monster destroyer. Like, I just thought of some of the most powerful boss monsters that Konami has either released or announced in 2016. Lightning shits on like everything, you know, things like Chaos Max Dragon, Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon, Leo Dancer, even fucking Zark. I mean, Zark is supposed to be like the most powerful card in the entire like Arc V universe, and it's like, okay, just summon Utopia the Lightning, attack over, just completely destroy your Zark, destroy your card that it took you like 5 monsters to summon, and it, you know, I basically just made a simple rank 4 play and answered it, and I would be completely fine if that's what Utopia specialized in. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that cards can't be extremely powerful. Even things like Exiton Knight. Exiton Knight, it basically punishes overextension, and it's a board wiper. Outside of that, it doesn't really do that much. You know what I mean? It card clearly has some downsides. 1900 attack isn't gonna really put the fear of God in anybody, but Utopia the Lightning seems to specialize in like everything. You think about how it's able to just punish your opponents for putting little monsters on the board. You know what I mean? If your opponent has a 1200 Bambunku on the field, or if they have a Paleozoic that's trapped in attack mode and they just weren't able to get it off the field, you know, Utopia the Lightning is looking at 5000 attack and being able to do 3800 battle damage. Like, it's a huge damage card too. So we have a card that not only just completely wrecks just about any boss monster in the game, but it also is a card that just does insane amounts of damage. And honestly, it's like we have rank 4s that are designed specifically just to do that and nothing else. Cards like Gagaga Samurai, Blade Armor Ninja, Excalibur. Like, this guy completely shits on all of these cards. Don't you think there's a reason no one ever plays any of these cards? It's like, why would you go into these cards that just specialize in that one small aspect when you can pretty much get that same thing and so much more out of Utopia the Lightning? You know, if you need a card that basically is immune to battle traps like Mirror Force and Magic Cylinder and other just annoying battle, you know, battle step tricks, as I like to call them, or battle phase tricks, things like Honest, I mean, Utopia the Lightning is pretty much your card. Like, it doesn't have the complete broad protection of like a Magispector or things like Towers, but, you know, when you can't Mirror Force a card that does all of its damage in the battle phase, that's pretty important. You know, it even excels at other things like being able to attack over monsters and know that you will not have to worry about them triggering. You know, that used to be grounds for just cards like Effect Veiler. Like, you guys remember the days when you had to get rid of like a Dante or an Abyss Lindy, and you're like, damn, I really need to kill that monster, but I don't want to let it trigger. You know what I mean? I guess I'll have to go into like Abyss Dweller and then use a bigger monster to kind of run it over. And that was a completely good play. You know what I mean? If you had to get like a Skarm off the board or a Dante going into Abyss Dweller attacking, but you know, now you can pretty much just go into Utopia the Lightning. You can attack over the Seer, the Shadow Mist, or the even flip effects, things like you know, any of the Shadows, or Fossil Dyne is not technically a flip effect, but it has an effect that activates when flip face up. Like, Utopia the Lightning answers all those cards as well, and I feel like if Konami hadn't made this card either so fucking easy to summon, or if they just would have made it a little weaker, it would have been a card that's like, I guess I can say perfectly fine, or I don't like to use the term healthy or unhealthy, honestly, but I think it would have been like a much more fair card. Like, you look at cards like Beatrice or even Constellar M7, those are cards that are, you can summon them by using cards in their respective archetype. You basically can rank them up for free, but you can't activate their effects in the same turn that you summon it that way. Why couldn't they have built that into Utopia the Lightning? Like, why couldn't they make it so that the turn that you summoned Utopia the Lightning using a regular Utopia, maybe you didn't get the 5,000 attack, or maybe when you use the 5,000 attack, your opponent doesn't take battle damage. Like, don't you guys just look at this card and think, wow, you know what I mean? It's a card that basically cucks every boss monster in the game. It punishes little monsters as well. You can't defend yourself with any type of battle phase tricks in the game, and it also works as a pseudo kind of like Abyss Dweller type card where you can run over things like Burning Abyss monsters or Lindy or just shit that activates in the graveyard, Yang Zings, and you can also just wreck those cards as well. Like, if this card was a lot harder to summon, like if it had to be summoned using a Utopia plus a rank up or something, I would have been fine with that, because, you know, I don't think that every person in the game or all the players who can summon rank 4s, I don't think that they would have been willing to run rank ups just to get Utopia the Lightning. Maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like at least that would have been some type of downside. Like, what is the Achilles heel of this card? The only legitimate downside I can think of Utopia the Lightning is the fact that, yes, it technically requires you to kind of waste one extra deck spot on Utopia. But is that really a downside? Like, if you look at all the other great rank 4s in the game, like, they have downsides. Like, Cast Down Abyss Dweller, they have very low attacks. Like, are you really scared of a 1700 Abyss Dweller? He has a great effect, but it's like 1700. You know, even cards like Dark Rebellion Exceed Dragon, it targets, and you can only use the effect like once. With Utopia the Lightning, you can use this motherfucker 2 times in the same turn. You can't use it 2 times in like the same attack, but if your opponent somehow is dumb enough to attack you twice, you can even use this effect 2 times in 1 turn. So I don't know, guys. I know I'm gonna get a bunch of dislikes, but let me know what you guys think. I'm not saying that, well, I actually do think the card is kind of ban worthy, because I feel like that's the only option you can do. Like, limiting Utopia to Lightning doesn't make sense, and this is coming from someone who played Utopia, like actually played the Utopia deck. Like, Utopia to Lightning is actually a broken card. Now, with that said, will it get banned? No, I don't think it will get banned at all. But don't you think that there's a reason why it's pretty much considered the best rank 4 in the entire game of Yu-Gi-Oh? Like, if you can rank 4, there is no way that you're not running Utopia the Lightning. Even in decks like Necroz or Fluffles, decks that I have that aren't primary Exceed decks, like, I still find a way to get this shit in there. Like, in my Lunar Lights, I'm like, yeah, if I only have a couple of spots for like Exceeds, I'm running Lightning, because it's a game ender and it just shits on all of these cards. Like, it just covers so much ground. So you guys let me know what you think. Thank you for watching. As always, smash the thumbs up button, even though I'm sure probably about 55% people will probably dislike the video. Thank you guys for watching, as always.